everybody, this is Brendan at Common Motor Collective. That's common-motor.com on the internets. Today we're going to start in a series of electrical videos that we get a lot of questions about. So the number one thing we're going to talk about is batteries. Anyway, we get a lot of questions about batteries here at the shop, and actually right now I'm sitting at our R&D bench on our corner of the shop where we actually go and we test parts for bikes to make sure they fit right. But let's talk about batteries because it's the number one thing in your electrical system. You're going to have to buy them throughout the years of your bike, and I guarantee you every single bike out there needs a battery, and we get a lot of questions about them. So let's talk about the types of batteries that are out there, your choices, the positives and negatives of them, and hopefully you guys can make the best choice you need for your bike and your budget. So our first battery on the chopping block is your standard lead acid battery. This is your old school lead plates and sulfuric acid battery. This is what most car batteries are made like, and this is going to be your most common battery that you find out in the market. I believe this one is a Duralast AutoZone battery. So they're really common as far as being able to obtain them. Most auto parts stores and big box stores will carry some form of a lead acid battery. The pluses on them, they're cheap, they're plentiful, they've been around a long time, they work. The minuses on them are that, well, when you get most of them, they're dry, meaning that the lead plates are just in the plastic holder here, and you'll get a bottle of acid that you then have to fill up here in the battery. And I think this one has, actually you can see it here, it has a fill line, and you're supposed to have the acid in between the top and bottom of the lines there. The other thing about these batteries that a lot of people don't realize is once you activate them or pour the acid in, you then have to put this on a charger, like I call it the big boy battery charger, not a trickle charger, for anywhere from a few hours to overnight. Just depends on the nature of your charger and what the battery calls for. But regardless, they have to be given kind of an initial, I don't know, lack of a better term, zap of electricity and be charged up before you can throw them into your bike. So a lot of folks have a problem where they'll activate a battery, they'll throw it in their bike, and it kind of has about a charge for a little bit, and then it falls off quickly. What I've noticed with lead acid batteries is if you don't charge them right, and if you don't use your bike all the time, meaning that a couple times a week where the battery is being discharged and cycled, much like you'd use your car, the battery life can be anywhere from as short as a few weeks. I've seen batteries go into about 6 weeks, up to about a year, year and a half. Again, it depends on how much you use the battery. So if you're going to go the lead acid route, make sure you're using the battery a lot. If it's not something that you plan on using every day or very frequently, I'd suggest maybe saving your cash and going to a different style battery. And the prices on these range from anywhere from like $30 on up to about $80, depending on how nice of a battery you have. Sometimes you're not even really buying a battery, you're buying a warranty. So keep that in mind when you're shopping for batteries. So myself, I don't personally care for lead acid. There's better technology out there, so we're going to move on. So adios. Next battery in the chopping block is this. This is known as an AGM battery. I'm not actually sure who makes this one. Extreme is. I think it comes from one of these battery stores that just sells batteries. It seems to be a pretty nice made battery, made in the US. But what an AGM battery stands for is absorbed glass mat. So instead of being liquid sulfuric acid that's inside the battery, you have basically like a gel paste that reacts with the lead in the battery, and therefore the batteries are sealed. You don't have to fill them with water, and most of the time when you get them, they have an initial charge where you don't have to actually charge them up. You can pretty much buy them from the store, drop them in the bike, and you're good to go. Most AGM batteries have at least a 1-year warranty on them. They tend to be higher quality, and definitely if you let your bike sit for weeks or months at a time, you should be able to come over to the bike and crank it over and you'll have plenty of power. So they store well. The price point's on a little bit higher. They start at about like the $60 range and they go up to about $120. I definitely would recommend an AGM battery for your bike. I've been running them in bikes for years, and they're just a higher quality product. Your money is better spent. Again, I don't know where this one came from, but this one seems to be a nice one. I guess they range in quality and price point. So we're going to show you another one. This guy. Yeah. This is actually one of the batteries that we carry here at Common Motor. In fact, it is the only battery we carry. This is an AGM battery, but it's actually a really well-designed AGM battery, and I like it a lot. And that's one of the reasons why I was excited to carry it and recommend it to folks with their bike. Made by a company called Motobat. One of my favorite features about it is that when we go to the top here, it has, they call it quad flex technology. Basically it means that you have 4 terminals, 2 negatives and 2 positives, to configure the battery as you need it. And you also notice I just tipped the battery over so it's not going to spill. You know, how we can do that with it, turn it upside down. What makes this one really cool is that on these, so these little guys here are stainless steel. They're screws. They come with these really cool, where is it? Where is it? There they are. Anyway, these are really cool. It comes with these really great brass terminals, something you don't see on most batteries. Definitely comes from the marine industry, and it comes with really nice little stainless steel hardware, and it can be configured however you want. And so it just is, I don't know, it's just a battery, but it's a really well designed battery. Bolt it in and go, and you can configure your terminals however you need on the bike. Again, multiple points. Other great thing about these batteries is 2-year warranty, no question asked. So again, they're on the upper end of AGM batteries. I highly recommend these for a bike. Said they're really exciting as far as a battery goes, but a good quality product. And when I found them, I was really excited to carry them. So sharing that information with you guys, I highly recommend. If you're keeping your stock size battery in your bike, 350, 360, 450, 550, whatever, go with a motor bat. They retail for about $100, and they're totally worth it, especially with that 2-year warranty. So, all right, next battery. So the most common question I get asked with battery is wanting to have a smaller battery to go on your bike because you're trying to build a custom, whatever it's a Brat or a Cafe or whatever it is you want, you need a smaller battery. Well, this is an SLA battery. This is actually an AGM to absorb glass mat, but more specifically they call it SLA for seal lead acid. And this little guy is actually out of either a security system or a power wheelchair. They come in different formats, but basically it's just a mini version of the other batteries we saw. They're relatively low price point and they're light and small. So I can pick this up with one hand. This is a 12 volt, 5 amp hour battery. In fact, this is the exact same battery that I run on my personal bike. A lot of folks ask me about what battery I'm running. They're nice, they're small, they're light, they're cheap, they're accessible. Some of the downsides on it is that it does have these standard kind of terminals on it, which would use a spade connector versus your big bolt terminal, so you'll have to do some wiring changes to make it work. But if you're trying to go compact and custom, this is the way to go as far as the price point. The cheap ones are about $15. The better ones are about $30. I have found over years of experience, go ahead and spend the money and get the better one. Get that back on there. Spend the money and get a better battery. Buy the $30 one because usually it has like an 18-month warranty on it or something like that. And they work fine with the charging system of the bike. So again, for the price point, it's kind of hard to beat. And they're small. Other downside is it doesn't have the cranking amperage for running the electric starter. If that's important to you, you can actually find SLA AGMs that are a little bit bigger in size, that have more amp hours, that are bigger than this, but necessarily smaller than one of these guys. So we can go that way. Again, for $30, you get about 1.5 years, almost 2 years out of them. It's kind of hard to beat. So that's that. So the other question is lithium ion. Lithium ion. Everybody wants lithium ion batteries, right? Lithium ion's a tough one. And it's tough because, not because the batteries are bad, they're actually amazing batteries. It's tough because, one, they're expensive. They start at about $130 and go up from there. Two, they're very sensitive to the charging voltage being perfect on the battery to run. A lot of companies out there making a lot of batteries. We've seen a lot of guys with custom builds. It's great. It's a cool technology. The batteries are light, and they help lighten up everything, and they're compact. However, in my personal opinion, not fact, it's my opinion, that I think they're overpriced for what you get. And in the end, you're still having it's a reservoir of electrons, and there's cheaper options like going with an SLA AGM battery that are just a reservoir of electrons. Just because they're lithium ion doesn't mean they last longer, and they're also very, very, very sensitive to charging voltage. We know on these little Honda 350s, 360s, 450s that the charging voltage you're going to see is kind of in like the mid 12s to mid 13s on average as far as voltage goes. So they're not super high on the charging voltage, and they're also not very exact. If you're going to do lithium ion, please do your research first. Talk to the battery manufacturer, ask them what kind of charging voltage thresholds they need and what kind of charging ranges they need. Some batteries might have a very narrow band, like a 13.2 to 13.5 charging volts. Your bike may not be able to do that. So I recommend, if you're going to go that route, get you a little digital voltmeter, run your bike and see what your charging voltage is at idle, see what it is at speed, like 4,000, 5,000 RPM, and see what you're getting. To be honest, even talking with some other friends in the business here in the industry about lithium ions, and we're kind of on the general consensus that while we get they exist out there, personally, it's hard for us to recommend them. But doesn't mean they're not out there. There's some cool stuff. So do your research before you decide to buy. If you're not getting good charging voltage, something to think about on the bike, a little bit tangent here, is this guy. This is a new combo regulator rectifier that fits the 350, 360, 450, 500T, basically all the bikes with a single phase charging system. It's a plug and play unit. This is single-handedly the best electrical upgrade that you can do for your bike. It combines both the rectifier, which turns the AC from the generator into DC, or the alternator to DC, and it is also the voltage regulator, which keeps the voltage threshold in the mid-12s to mid-13s typically. So this is part number 3023 on the website. So if you're not sure about your charging voltage, I would definitely upgrade this to your bike. A lot of people do it. Great results with it. It's a great product. I can recommend it highly. They work fantastic. So upgrade. What good is a battery without being able to maintain it? This guy is a really simple little charger, a wall wart charger. And what this is basically a trickle charger, meaning that it's going to keep the battery topped off or keep it from discharging while the bike is in storage. And these are fairly inexpensive. We carry this one on our website. I like it because it has a trickle setting on it, or an 8-hour setting on it, 6 volt, 12 volt, so you can use it on dirt bikes and stuff with a 6 volt battery. They're simple, they work, and they really get the job done. It's got a fuse built into it in case you pop something, you can change the fuse out. And this is the best part. That's this little terminal guy here. Unplug it. This 2 guys go on your battery. You leave this pigtail on your bike. When you need to plug the charger in, just plug it in and go. And when you need to take the bike out, unplug it, you're off. That way you don't have to actually go into the battery and unhook anything. So get you a trickle charger, at least a minimum. Okay, if you have an old bike, this is going to be a must if you don't have actually a bigger battery charger. So that's kind of the quick overview on batteries. So again, a lot of options out there, a lot to sink in. Everybody's on a different budget on their build, but I hope this gives you some ideas to think about when choosing a battery, because it is the heart of the electrical system. And we're going to get into a couple other things electrical in our next video. So this is the first of the electrical series. And again, if you have any questions, let us know. common-motor.com. Go to our contact form. This is Brendan, commonmotor.com or common-motor.com. Thanks for watching. Again, we're here to help. We talk to vintage Honda owners around the globe every day. You're not alone in your pursuits of trying to get your bike back on the road. Thanks for watching.